everybody, Michelle here with Drink, Eat, Repeat VSG. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means, Tidbit Tuesday. So yeah, if you are new to the channel, let me just give you a little description of what Tidbit Tuesday is. A tidbit, as you probably know, is a little bit, like a little piece. A tidbit could be a little delicious morsel of food. It can be a little juicy piece of gossip. It can be just a little snippet of information, something, just a little bit. And on the channel, my Tidbit Tuesday is basically a little bit of information or a topic or just something that has been on my mind. Sometimes it is me telling you something that maybe you don't know about, giving you a background of something grammatical, since I'm an English teacher. A lot of times it has turned into stuff that pisses me off, like just little things that irritate me, and I want to share those with you and, kind of rant about them a little bit. So yeah, it's sort of an eclectic mix of shit of whatever I'm feeling like that day. Nothing really earth-shattering, just something I want to talk about, something that's on my mind, information I want to share, maybe tell you something that you didn't know before. That's pretty much the goal of my Tidbit Tuesdays, is to maybe impart some knowledge that you didn't know before, or maybe get you thinking or talking about a certain issue or a certain topic. So today, nothing earth-shattering or really serious. There's just a couple things that I've been thinking about because of what's been going on in my life, basically. The first one is Flag Day. What the fuck is Flag Day? And why do we celebrate it? And this is for the US. I'm not sure if other countries have a Flag Day celebration. I'm sure they do, but I'm not familiar with that. If you're from another country, besides, the US, because that's where I'm from, I would love to hear if you have a Flag Day or what you call it, what you do. I would really love to hear about that. So if that is the case, leave me some comments down below and let me know what is going on. Okay? So yeah, I was making my calendar for the month. I have a chalkboard space in my living room where I draw out the chalkboard for the month and put our appointments and events and holidays and, all the shit that me and my 4 kids are doing, and, in a central location so everybody knows what the hell's going on for the month. And as I was looking at my phone and looking at my appointments and writing them on the chalkboard, the phone comes up with Flag Day on June 14th. And I'm like, what? What the fuck's Flag Day? Yeah, I remember hearing about it, like, every year that I've been alive. I can remember hearing it. I couldn't tell you when it was or why it was or really anything about it other than that it's a day we celebrate our flag, which seems kind of like generic. So I was thinking about that and I'm like, okay, I need to research this and figure out what the fuck it is, where it came from, what we're supposed to do, and why it's important, if it's important. So I researched it and I got some notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at these notes. So Flag Day is June 14th, and it was created to commemorate the adoption of the American flag on June 14th of 1777. So yeah, it's to celebrate the flag. Now in June of 1777, the flag looked different than it does now. And maybe I'll add some photos up here somewhere when I edit this video so you can see. But yeah, if you're an American, you probably know that the flag started out with 13 stars instead of 50, and that was because of the 13 original states or colonies. And we have 50 now because we have 50 states in the Union, and the stars represent those. And that's why it's changed over the years. But yeah, so Flag Day, we celebrate the commemoration or the adoption, or we commemorate or celebrate the adoption of the flag. So it's the day that this is officially our flag. This red, white, and blue with the stars is officially our flag. So that's what it is. What do we do on Flag Day in the US? Nothing really. You know, it's not a official federal holiday, so what that means for us is that we still have to go to work, we still have to go to school, the banks are open, the post office is open, we're still gonna get mail that day. Sometimes you'll see like stores do Flag Day promotion sales like they do for every other fucking holiday that we have on the books. People will, you know, fly their flags, which we do pretty much all the time anyway in the US. But, you know, on Flag Day, you may see people, you know, displaying their flags more prominently, or more flags than one, or, you know, whatever, stepping up their flag game, you know. When I was doing some research about this, I then started thinking about the flag itself. And as you know, the American flag is red and white stripes with 50 stars now on a blue background. The stars are in the blue background. And I learned that that little square where the stars are, or rectangle rather, where the stars are is called the chief, which I didn't know that before. So that's kind of weird. And I don't know, I kind of like it. And I was thinking about, you know, why red, white, and blue? Why not a different, you know, pattern of colors? And so I did some research on that, and apparently the stars were chosen because they are symbolic of the heavens and man's ever-present goal to reach for the stars, right? To reach the heavens. And I think that's, you know, we probably pretty much figured that. If you thought about it, you probably figured that. So I was thinking about, you know, why blue? It makes sense that you would have white stars in a blue background because the sky is blue, right? And, you know, the blue really makes sense in that configuration, but it also is supposed to stand for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. So that's pretty cool. Kind of like Superman, right? So yeah, cool. And then the white symbolizes purity and innocence, which is kind of weird, I think, because, and I don't know if maybe because we were a new nation, we decided, you know, white, but I don't know, it's kind of strange to me anyway. And then the red is symbolizes hardiness and valor. So, you know, red's always been like a strong color historically, you know, in different military configurations and whatnot. So yeah, pretty cool. So that's some tidbits for you. Those are some tidbits for you about the flag and Flag Day and what the fuck it is. So there we go. So I had another like what the fuck moment this week. Sunday, my middle daughter graduated high school, and of course they played Pomp and Circumstance when the graduates walked out. And it got me thinking, you know, where did this song come from? Why is it called Pomp and Circumstance? And, you know, why do we use it at graduations? So I decided to look that up. And I've heard a lot of people say pop, as in P-O-P, and circumstance, but that's incorrect. It's pomp, P-O-M-P, and circumstance. And it was written by a guy named Edward Elgar in 1901, and it was actually written to celebrate the coronation of King Edward VII, so it didn't have anything to do with graduation, but has since been used at serious ceremonies or ceremonies where there is a celebration of achievement. So, you know, like with the coronation of the king originally, and now we use it at graduation ceremonies. So that makes sense. What I didn't know is that the name Pomp and Circumstance of the song came from a line from Shakespeare's Othello. I did not know that. And Othello is one of my all-time favorite Shakespeare plays. I think of the tragedies, it is my favorite. And I love it. I've read it so many times. I've taught it. If you've watched my channel before, you've heard me talk about being an English teacher. Excuse me, I needed my coffee. It floored me when I learned that that was where the name came from, was a line from that play, because I remember, you know, reading that line, but it never dawned on me that the two things were connected. And so it's really interesting to me. And the line is said in the play by Othello. And if you know anything about the play, Othello is a king who thinks that his wife cheats on him. Like, he thinks that he's been cuckolded, right? That was the term they used back then. It's not true. It's actually a scheme by the evil Iago in the play. And, you know, that's basically the plot of the play. And, you know, I'm not going to give it away in case you haven't seen it done or you haven't read it. You know, I really recommend it because it's awesome as hell. But anyway, you know, that's the idea behind it. And the line is pride, pomp, and circumstance of war. That's where the line is. And Othello actually says the line after he is convinced by Iago that his wife is being unfaithful. And it's a, you know, several lines that he says in a diatribe of having to leave his old life behind. And it is not a happy line because he was a military hero, a war hero, and in the paragraph that he says in reaction to being convinced that his wife is being unfaithful, okay, he talks about having to give up this old life of honor and of being a celebrated hero and the old life he knew because of being cuckolded by his wife, because of his wife being unfaithful and him being dishonored now. And so in the line, he's talking about all of these things that he has to give up. And one of those things is the pride, pomp, and circumstance of war. So that's where it comes from. So really interesting that would stick out to the composer and that he would use that to name his piece of music. So yeah, that's where it comes from. It's really interesting to me, and I hope that you found it interesting. I know this Tidbit Tuesday's a little bit different than the ones I've done recently. The ones I've done recently have been a little bit more political. Well, a lot bit more political. You know, I'm sure I'll have some more of those in the future. But anyway, that's what I've been thinking about today. So I hope you learned a little something about Flag Day and pomp and circumstance. And I hope that you will give the video a thumbs up. And please leave me those comments down below and let me know if your country is doing a Flag Day, if you knew anything about Flag Day in America, if you're an American or if you're not an American, what you think about it, what you do, if you celebrate it, if it's just another day that goes by, you know, I'd love to know. And pomp and circumstance, if you knew this already, or, you know, and I want to know what you think about Othello because I fucking love it and I would love to talk about it. So yeah, leave me some comments down below. Let me know what's going on. So yeah, I hope you will subscribe and come back to the channel for my other videos and other Tidbit Tuesdays. And I hope you will have a lovely, lovely day.